Hi, so I'm going to pick up where Penny left off. We have Pamela's image here. We also have another one there. The third print of the mermaid is here, and I'm going to use this blind drawing of a hand that I did earlier on today. Okay, so I'm going to try and make an image out of all of these images put together. And I'm just going to go through a few processes which I often use while working in Photoshop. Okay, the first one is to extract the paint layer, or to extract the page off this, so we're left just with a layer of paint, all of the textures of paint. I've chosen Penny's DSLR images because they have a lot of information on them. So if I zoom in, you can see there's quite a lot of detail and texture, which will be quite handy for later. Right, so what I'm going to do is go to Select, Color Range. I'm going to select, normally invert is selected off. I'm going to select the paper here with the eyedropper tool. And you can alter the fuzziness if you want to select a bit more. If I put it too high, it's going to start thinking that the very light blues are also close to what I've selected here. So I want it down somewhere down the middle. I only want to select the white paper. I'm going to invert this because I'm selecting the paper in order to select everything but the paper. So I'm going to invert my selection. Okay, now I go to OK. Now I just have all of the blues selected, everything that's not white of the paper. I go to Command J, which is copy and paste. And I can switch off my background layer, and now I no longer have paper, and you can see that this checkered background is here, so the image is floating around on its own, which means that I could go in, make another layer, and if I painted it, so B for brush, pink, say for example here, make my brush bigger, I can paint behind it. Okay. Now, so the reason I'm doing this is also it gives me control over the image. So I can put in a solid color, for example, let's say the same pink, and if I click on Alt and hover between the two layers, I am applying this color fill to everything that's in this layer, and because there's no background, it's just applying to all of the paintwork. Now you might say it's okay, it's good, but it's gotten rid of all of this lovely texture and the relief that you can see here in the paint. So let's say I wanted to keep that. I can go down here into adjustment layer. I'm going to add in, there's several things you can do, but I'm going to just do this one, hue and saturation. Now when I click on my hue and saturation, it's coming back down here. I can edit my saturation, my hue. So I'm going to make my hue become kind of green here, or pink if I wanted, but I'm going to leave it green. Okay, now so I have this done. I'm going to put all of these layers, these three layers, into a group. So I'm selecting the top one, holding on to Shift, selecting the bottom, and then I'm going to the group layer down here, and I'm going to call this water figure. Okay, now I've done the same with the cells here, and I'm going to put these into a group also. I'm going to call these cells. With Mermaid, I've extracted the line, so we can see that it's just sitting on a black background. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to use the quick selection tool because I just want to select this mermaid. It's a handy tool that Photoshop introduced a number of iterations ago, years ago. They keep on updating things, but this was one of the good ones. Now, so I'm selecting, you can see the marching ants all around that figure there, and I'm not going to Command and J because I might have missed something, so this time, because it's a more complex image, I'm going to use the mask. So it looks like I have missed a little bit here. It means I can go into my mask, as you all know, I'm sure, and I can draw back in some of these areas. So I wanted a bit more of that detail there. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to look at the arm, so the hand rather. So this is the drawing as it came in. I did the same thing, so I just changed all of I changed the levels, and I went into color range, selected the hand, and I actually just drew this with the mouse. I just extended the arm out. So I'm left with this extracted line on a background without any paper on it. Right. So with this image, I'm going to go to my Magic Wand tool. I'm going to select the background. I'm going to select invert my selection, because I actually want to select the entire hand, everything but the background. Now I'm going to add another layer here. I'm going to call this arm fill, and I'm going to color that in. Alt and backspace colors in your foreground color, which is pink down here. Alt and backspace. Here we go. Now I can put my arm. Oh, I can put my arm line above that. Okay, Command and D for deselect. So I want to pull out the fingernails as well, so I'm going to use the Magic Wand tool again. So hold on to Shift while I click on all of these fingernails here. I'm going to add a new layer again. I'm going to call this nails. Okay. Just going to get rid of these properties. Don't need that. Now, so this nails layer, I'm going to color in with Command and backspace, which is the background color, and Command and D, deselect. Okay, so this is my hand with nails. I've got a comic book. It's a bit of a throwaway drawing, to be honest with you, but it's just to see what I can do with it. A bit of a challenge. Okay, we're going to use this as our canvas, so I'm going to bring in some of these. I'm going to bring in my mermaid on top of this arm. I'm going to make the mermaid into a tattoo on the arm of this seafaring theme. Okay, a big mermaid tattoo that would wrap around this guy's arm, guy or girl's arm actually. Okay, so click it in place there. Now I want to apply that just to the arm, so I'm going to bring it down to above the arm here. I'm going to hold on to Alt and make a clipping mask, so hover in between these two layers. Let's make a clipping mask on the arm. Okay, so that's pretty handy. We can move, so V for a move tool, and I can move this around this tattoo. I can change the color of that tattoo as well if I want it. All I have to do is click on Command and I click on my image, and it selects everything within that layer. But we'll do that later on. Don't need to change that now. Okay, so now we're going to make all of these. So select all of these, put them into a group, and I'm going to call this arm. ARM. Okay, so our mermaid is in. I'm going to switch her off. Our cells, let's bring this in to the background, underneath the arms. Here we go. Okay, and I want this, I'm going to zoom out a bit, because I want it to look like this is an arm in the water. I'm going to go for this concept. So I'm going to transform and go into perspective. And now it looks like this water is going off into the distance, kind of. Not majorly, but a little bit may do. Okay, and then I'm going to go to tick. Now, my arm. I want to move my arm and make it look like it's coming out of the water here. Command and T. Look, come out like an angle, something like that. Okay, and then on this arm I can do a mask down on the bottom. I'm going to select a brush. I'm going to go to X, so I have black here, and I'm going to erase the arm all the way up to this. Should be zooming in now, having a close look. I'm going to press X so I can draw a bit more of this pink back in. X again. And a bit of playing around. Okay, very roughly done. That'll do the job. Okay, now we have this hand coming out of the water. Okay, and now I'm going to bring in this water figure. So here's my water figure. it's going into the arm, which is our layer. And it's way too large, so I need to zoom out. I'm going to zoom back in. Now I'm going to apply I'm going to put this in the background underneath the cells. I'm going to switch on a different color so that we can see what's happening a little bit. Here we go. So I'm going to add the same thing, so edit, transform, and perspective. Okay, it looks like this hand is kind of beckoning this some sort of a sea goddess underneath the water here, or something like that. Okay, so then we are going to put in a background. Label a background so we know what we're doing. I'm going to add in an adjustment layer, solid color. I'll go with something like this. Now, like the dark layer in the background. Okay. Okay, and now I'm going to just change. Now we have full control over the image. All of our elements are there, our textures are there, and now we can just change colors and change some adjustment layers and so on, and see what we can come up with. So in my cells, I'm going to see what happens if I just put in a color layer. It kind of flattens it. It's much more graphic, of course, so maybe in keeping with the hand. But I really like that texture, so I'm going to try and avoid doing that. I'm just going to turn on this green hue here. Now I'm going to go into the watery figure, and maybe we'll see what happens if I change that to kind of maybe a similar-ish color to this one. A bit more blue, maybe. Okay. Now that hand is kind of bothering me, so I'm going to go into the arm. I need to add an adjustment layer there, a fill, and we'll go for a bit more naturalistic. Orangey hand coming out there. Okay, the tattoo, I don't mind the tattoo being black. I'm going to leave that black there. Okay, then we can change the nails. They could do with a bit more color as well. I'll make them super orange, bright orange. Ooh, didn't really work. So we'll just do an off-white here. Okay, so there's our hand floating around in a murky looking pool of something. Okay, that's our cells. Yeah, so there we are. And then you could probably spend hours just playing around with things and changing things and so on. But all of the possibilities are there. They're some of the basic things that I've used quite a lot. Okay, that's all we have time for. Yeah, so I'm just going to switch this one again. Maybe the graphic element suits it better. Anyway, it's not exactly a work of art, and it's just an example of the different type of things that you could do here. You can also look at the there's lots of blend modes here that are worth looking at with all of these images and how they change things and so on. Okay, so I'll just go put that back to normal for now. And if you want to look at your image cleanly to get rid of all the toolbar, just press F. You press F again, and then Command and 0 fits it to screen, and now we get a really clear view of how that image looks. Very much kind of comic book style, but you can see that the analog textures coming through there. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.